hit my car. There's a good shot. Okay, people, it's Tuesday evening, and I took most of the day off to kind of recover from the week. I've been going at this thing gung-ho ever since right before car show, and it's kind of starting to catch up to me. Anyway, there are a few little things that I'm kind of poking around with, prepping myself for tomorrow. Let me show you what I got going on here. Okay, so this is the kick panel. As you can see, this is where the B pillar used to go because it was a 4-door. Now, I did get a kick panel off a 2-door car, but it doesn't buy me very much. I think it only goes to about there. So let's see. Yeah, so it really doesn't buy me very much. What it does buy me, though, where it kicks up here, it starts to kick up a little here, but it's almost flat. I mean, I could almost heat that up with my torch and kind of bend it back down. So yeah, I think that's going to help. Let me show you the back half. So this is the back half. As you see, it goes all the way up there. That I'm going to lop off real quick because it's totally in my way and it's screwing with my mock-up. Okay, so here's the back section. Here's the front section. There's the B pillar. That's a big gap that you would have to try to fix somehow. So we're going to put this on the end of that and see what it looks like. Well, naturally, it doesn't actually fit because it wasn't designed to fit. So that's going to have to get trimmed up. This is actually the seatbelt hole. So realistically, this thing would probably sit like that, and I'd have to fix that. Now, I could cannibalize the original one. Obviously, we also have 2 different colors here. So I would either have to find another kick panel in gray off of an EX coupe or an HX coupe. I don't think they made an LX coupe. Anyway, off a coupe, or paint it, which I don't know how well paint will stick to it, but that's probably what's going to end up happening because I don't want to drive all over the damn state trying to find one. And the other problem. So this, being a left-hand drive car, this is where the trunk release and gas door release went, and a lock, which if you look really, really close, you can see the molding line where they molded it together. So that'd be a nice place to cut it. You can't see it on the inside. But anyway, again, I can cannibalize. Maybe. I don't even know if there's enough real estate there to cannibalize. Anyway, cut a chunk out of there and take some of that tin and rivet it together. And then when it's painted, you'd see it well, you wouldn't have to look very hard, but you'd see it, but you probably wouldn't notice it at a glance. And again, this is a budget hack, so keeping with that theme, it would work. But yeah, so let me go pop this in place and then grab that, and we'll see where it all sits. You see this raised portion here, and the coupe doesn't have it. I'm going to bet that, see, it's flat. I'm going to bet that the coupe does not have an airbag sensor there in the middle. And that's kind of a pain in the ass to get off. You got to have I think it's a T25 or something. So I got to pull the seat out to get to it. And right now I don't really care enough to do so. So here I'll probably just do a little cut, heat it up with the torch, a little cut there maybe, and bring it down a little. There I'm going to have to do a lot more. And then another piece. I mean, because the alternative is you got that ugliness, and you can't just cover it with carpet. Although I could figure out a way to cover this with carpet if I just glued it on over the top like that, which I may do, and that would cover the rivets and all that. So we'll see. But for right now, that's just me poking around and figuring out what's going where. So this again can be trimmed. Obviously you don't need a sill plate in the back seat, but you do need it there. You do need this to connect there, so that can go. And it looks like there might be several options for seatbelt holes. Speaking of which, I did get a pair of seatbelts ordered. Shoulder belts, in fact. Whether they work or not, I don't know, but they were really cheap. I mean, I'm not too concerned with safety in a crash because, frankly, you get in a crash in this car, you're going to be dead anyway. So even if it was still a stock Rambler, you'd still be dead anyway because this car was never built to be in any kind of crash. So there are, I don't think you can see them with the seat in place. Let's see. So there's the factory hole. And then there's a cover, and they feel like they're the same size as the seatbelt holes. But I don't really want to mess with them unless I know for sure. There's the cord for the mirror. But if necessary, I can move the seatbelt back. I need to get this plate, the Rambler plate out, and then scuff and paint all the Honda parts here. So there's a lot of little things I need to do. So I've been trying to prioritize these duties by importance, basically ranked by safety. I do need to work on the house. We need to get the house livable so we can move in. But before that, I need to make sure that this thing is safe. So the ball joints need to get done. They'll probably get done tomorrow or Thursday. I need to go pick up the press tomorrow because it keeps getting sent back. These sill plates aren't really important for safety. The only thing that would have to do with safety would be because the seatbelt bolt hole goes through it. You would want them to be installed before you put the seatbelts in, but they don't have to. I can always pull that one bolt out, put them in, and put the bolt back in later, which I'm going to. I just kind of was thinking about this. What needs to be done, I think there's a couple little welds I need to touch up in the back corner underneath. I think there's one little spot I missed. I can do that. I need to get all that stuff seam sealed and etch primed and primed, and then probably undercoated, at least just back there. I've got some undercoating, I think, just in those corners. I'm not going to do the wheel wells yet because that's all temporary. It's all going to come back off, and I don't want to deal with a bunch of undercoating I need to strip because it's a bitch to strip. Right now, the seatbelts are an important thing. These, nope, I must have just swapped the camera. These are probably maybe going to have to get cut off because, as you can see, the angle of this bolt to your head, they need to be down about here. There's not a lot of metal here. Up here in this junction, it's a little thicker than it is down here. So, I mean, I don't know. Put them right there where that hole is. But we'll see. I may end up going back to just lap belts. All right. These lights Those little green lights, about 1/4 inch. And my plan is to put them here on top of this panel and then wire them to the turn signals, because you can't see the turn signal. Let's see. Here's my 4-way switch. So, see, you can see them there, but you can't see them out here. Like, you just barely see them there on the edge. But back here, you know, you can't see them. So, you know, this is my line of sight right here. Like, even the high beam is partially obscured. You can kind of see it, but you can't see those turn signals. So far, everything's been parking, you know, when you turn the turn signals off and whatever. So you can't hear that thing click. The original flasher, you could actually hear click. You know, that was, of course, before I had any kind of a radio in this thing. So the idea is to put those 2 green lights right here, and you could see them. I just need to get into the harness and figure out where the wires are and tap into them. That will be a bitch, because again, this is never coming out again as far as I'm concerned. This dashboard stays here. This cluster stays here. I've even got a burned out light on the number 2 gear indicator. I'm not messing with it. So I just got to pop this off, drill it, put the lights in, and then wire them to a connector. I'm going to go ahead and put the horn button probably in the middle of the 2, and then put them on a connector. That way, if I ever have to pull this off, I can just unplug it and pull it out. I don't have to unwire or anything. But that's the idea for that. I just noticed a snag. So the switch comes way up high. There's no space to put it here. But there is this little relief in between, in the middle here. It gives us just enough space, and it's offset, which is not good because it's actually offset in the wrong direction, but I think we got enough room to put the 2 turn signal switches. We don't have enough room for a horn button though. There's not any space there at all, anywhere. Unless I come way out here, and I don't even know how big that is. But yeah, if I do that, if I come way out to the end here, that will clear and give us, I can put a horn button there and put the 2 lights back here. Yeah, okay. So I'm gonna go sit in the house and do this. So, and there we have it. They're not hooked up or anything. They're not being hooked up for a while. I need to put the bottom half back on, but that's that. I need to come up with a little push button for the horn, but then that's about it. Just have to figure out where the wires are. That's it for now. All right, I received my seatbelts last night. Unfortunately, these holes that were taped up are just holes. There's nothing in them. I might be able to put nut inserts in them, but they won't have any strength, which, honestly, if I get in a wreck in this thing, I'm down anyway, so I'm not that worried about it. What was a problem, though, is this part here with the belt, the retractor, the pulley. It only came with 1. It was supposed to have 2 in the box. The box had been opened and taped up, whatever. So, again, I think these are going to end up having to be moved, and of course that one's kind of odd anyway. But I think there's enough belt there. Unfortunately, I did have to do this. I was really hoping that the aftermarket belts would fit with the Civic buckle. They don't, so I had to do away with it. But this has got an explosive charge. I'm not entirely sure why or what it does. I mean, like, what's it gonna do? I don't know. Weird. It's not like this thing moves anywhere. I will. So I got to pull the wires out, unclip them and all that, and then put the seat back in. That's not horrible. I did order these ones specifically. I didn't want ones that just came with a belt because they'd flop around and get lost in between the seat and the console. This one will stay put. And again, I don't really trust them in a big wreck, so they're fine. I'm going to pull that thing off and put the seat back in. I'll be right back. Okay, it's time to check fitment here. There's the buckle. Kind of need two hands. Let's see if I can put you guys up there. If you will stay. Okay. Steering wheel's in the way, but you know, whatever. Okay, so this needs to be rotated, which it can't really be. Yeah, that needs to be rotated forward. Okay. The seatbelt's not super positive, it's just floppy. Okay, so it fits. This isn't quite as bad as I thought it was going to be. It will be for a passenger. As far as where it sits, yeah, it really does need to be down lower because it's up here. It would break my collarbone in a decent wreck. But, I mean, it works. It works. So this bottom piece can actually come up out of the front, I think. I really need to see if I can get a nut zert in one of those holes so that way the anchor has its own bolt instead of trying to share the bolt with the retractor. That's actually how it's designed. And I want to move the retractor back anyway. As you see, it's in my arm here. So, let me see. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. That'll work. I like having a seatbelt now. Unfortunately, I've only got one because they were missing one. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put the steering column back together and head on down south and pick up the ball joint adapter and maybe get the ball joints done today. Hopefully get the ball joints done today. I'll make a phone call first. So, doing the ball joints. These brake pads made me nervous when I first got the car. And so I ordered the carbon metallic. Drilled and slotted rotors, you know. Getting them off, though, they're not really that bad. They're due. Not like in 10,000 miles due. No, they're due. Now, I could run them 10,000 more miles and get them right down to metal. But we're not going to do that. And there's a squealer on them. As you can see, that squealer was very, very close to making contact. Come on, focus, camera, focus. Not on my fingers. Anyway. There we go. Yeah, you can see it was pretty close. But the rotors are warped anyway, so I also want you to see. Now, I kind of semi made a promise to myself that I broke, that I wasn't going to drive this thing around on bad ball joints, because I knew that they were, when this car was on its side and at the junkyard, I knew that they were shot. But I broke that promise because it's just too much fun to drive. But the ball joints were supposed to be done this summer while it was in the shop, and they just didn't get done. So I'm doing them now. And you can see the movement, just how bad they are. So yeah, that's getting done right now. All right. Yeah, they're just a little loose. No big deal. I didn't end up boogering that up, so I'll take the belt sander and just kind of clean it up. It was jammed in there pretty good. Nothing wrong with it, though. The boots are all in great shape, so don't need to change it if I don't have to. Okay. It has been a long-ass day. I got this mostly done. Got the ball joints, so I got it done. I just got to put the wheels back on and clean up. But Got the ball joints out. Got the new brakes on. I was going to paint the calipers, but I don't have time for that crap. Ain't nobody got time for that. Check this out. So this is the right side ball joint. It is slightly, just ever so slightly tighter than the driver's side one. Now, I specifically ordered these ball joints because they had grease zerks. So I can grease them and they never fail again. And there were very, very few of them that were greasable. And this is why. There's no clearance there for the grease zerks. I put the grease zerk in first before I tried to put the axle in. The axle ran right into it. And there's no way to have the grease zerk there. And the axle, unless I want to machine that and machine the CV, which I'm not doing. So I'm going to have to get a grease needle in there and try to figure out how to get some grease in the joint itself. And hopefully it'll be okay. But yeah, that kind of pisses me off. Anyway, oh, on this side, I got the ball joint in, put it together, and then I realized I'd forgotten to put the axle back in. So it wasn't that big of a deal because nothing was that tight yet, but yeah. Carbon metallic brake pads, slotted and drilled rotors. We'll see. I think these were like $60 for the pair. It may be garbage, but since these old ones were absolutely warped, I don't think I've got anything to worry about. And you can see I'm not very hard on brakes. I haven't even burned off all the rust from them sitting. Yep. I gotta pick up my mess. Put the wheels on, let it down, pick up my mess. So that's what we're gonna do right now. I just remembered something. I noticed that several of these bolts are loose and or missing. Yeah, so as you can see, that one is loose, that one's missing. This other nut is loose. That one could be loose. On the back side, some of them, one's missing, one's loose. It looks like it's kind of weepy, seepy, messy. So I'm gonna go ahead and run those in, tighten them up, and see what happens. I do need to tighten up this belt, the AC belt too, because that's a bit loose. It's just a real pain in the ass on the best of days, and with all this conversion, it's even harder yet. All right, I'm gonna get on that. Okay, hello. This is Thursday, and well, it's kind of a special day, I guess. Don't like to toot my own horn, but it's my birthday. And it's kind of weird when you think about being on this earth for 50 years, half a century. My brain keeps telling me I'm 20 years old, but my body keeps saying I'm 70, so I guess somewhere in the middle must be right. Now, I've got a couple hours to get a few things done before my family takes me off to eat some smoked ribs. I just been playing with the seatbelt here. I got it figured out. Let me show you what I did. So I went ahead. I was going to put the anchor down there, but when I did, it completely threw everything off because the anchor is actually the lap belt part. So it needs to be down here. And that actually works out pretty well. It could go back here, but this is fine. That, I was worried was going to be too high. That actually works out perfectly. And now I have plenty of slack. I can move around. Whether the seatbelt locks up in a wreck or not, I don't know, but frankly it doesn't matter. If I get into a wreck that's bad enough where I would need the seatbelt to save my life, it's already going to be bad enough that more than likely, given the lack of safety features of a 62 Rambler, plus the fact that I took all the safety features out of the 2001 Civic, and who knows whether, I'm not worried about my welds, tying the two bodies together, but I mean, the Honda was designed to be like an egg. You know, imagine the shape of an egg is the passenger compartment, then everything else is space cushion for the wreck. And the Rambler wasn't designed that way, but of course the Rambler was designed to have all the strength in the floor and none in the roof. So I don't know. Yesterday when I had the thing jacked up, the door still open and closed. So even though the body was in a twist, or at least I had the jack on the front corner, these doors still worked. They did feel a little different, but they didn't jam up or anything. So I think we're okay. And don't forget, I still got to weld the bottom of the rockers. I need to get a couple strips of steel, and then that could be called done. But I digress. So the seatbelt deal is going to work out fine once they send me the other seatbelt. This may get drilled out and put a nutsert. Again, it's not going to be strong, but, you know, I mean, it's more for looks and fake confidence than anything. So that would probably work just fine. I'm going to go ahead and cut some metal here. I've got that red piece right there. I've got another one marked out already. Now that's the adapter that ties the Civic regulator to the Rambler glass. So I need to cut one out for this side. And no, I'm not really starting on this door yet, but I just want to have the pieces ready. The other thing I need to cut are the two legs basically that tie this piece to this piece, and I need to come down. I'm gonna have to get a little creative because see, this thing actually needs to go to the side. My four-way switch is in the way. That leg right there coming up is going to be right in the way. Now this is going to be covered down to here and then to there. Comes out about 2 inches and then goes up. And then it'll be back here at least to there. I got to make sure that it doesn't interfere with the glove box door opening. And so it'll be attached to this and go down and attach to this. So I need to cut those pieces out, fit it to this, drill the hole, screw it to this, and then trim it to fit everything else. And then paint it. It'll just get painted that gray there. And I might go ahead actually and paint, when it's all said and done, paint it gray up to here, because everything below this part's going to be gray. Once these panels are made, they're going to be covered in gray vinyl to match the Honda gray. So I think that's where we're at. My battery's dead in my drill, otherwise I'd go ahead and drill out the hole over here, but that can wait. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna get started on cutting that metal. All right, got these cut out. So the idea here, I did hit them with the DA sander a little bit just to knock the rust and heavy enamel paint off. So that's the idea there. And then I'll trim it back here in the back and then on the top to make it fit. But first I have to fit them to this. So the idea, I gotta pop those little clips off and drill holes for screws. I will have to make a little spacer. I don't have to, I guess, but I'm going to. And then once I get it screwed to this on both sides, then I can put it inside the car, hold it in position, mark it, cut it, do all that fun stuff, take it apart, put it together 1,500 times, and then once I've got it where I want it, take it all back apart, paint it, put it back together, put it together inside. So that's the plan for now. Again, this is cut up from that 61 Valiant. More recycling. All right, here's where we're at. I gotta run, but somehow this was a problem when I was trying to center it. It broke all that out. So plastic's really brittle. That happened earlier, but with the couple little cracks that are there, I'm gonna try to find another unit. This is basically done. I broke the screw off there, so I need to drill that out. The other side though, I need to get the holes drilled. I'm gonna get my 90-degree chuck in there and get that attached, and then that'll be pretty much done. So that's about what it'll look like. And then the cover will come down and cover up all this right up to this edge here. But that's it. We got to go.